This week on Vaticano, we travel to Barcelona, where the Vienna Philharmonic inaugurates the 20th edition of the International Sacred Music and Art Festival, a beginning that sees two great artists as protagonists, post-romantic Austrian composer Joseph Anton Bruckner and his Fourth Symphony, and modernist Catalan architect Antoni Gaudí and his masterpiece of the Basilica of the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. After our passage through Spain, we fly to Rome, where the music of great composers like Mozart and Monteverdi give life to the rest of the festival in the imposing basilicas of the Eternal City. All of this and more coming up on Vaticano. When we think of the different artistic disciplines, it's difficult for us to find points of union among them, a challenge made even more evident between architecture and music, two apparently separate and incompatible realities. On the one hand, architecture is the art of space and mass that's manifested in the material of structures. And on the other, music is the art of sound that develops in time and through the immaterial nature of sound waves. Well, nothing could be further from the truth, as between music and architecture, there is, in fact, a deep complicity. Both artistic expressions pursue a common objective, the search and the communication of absolute beauty by way of common principles like harmony, proportion, rhythm, and emptiness. And it's precisely the search and promotion of this dialogue among the different arts that gave origin in 2002 to the Pro Musica e Arte Sacra Foundation, fruit of the extraordinary intuition of its president and founder, Dr. Hans Albert Corzial.
Dove vogliamo adesso toccare con questa musica e con questa arte sacra il vostro cuore.
Year after year, the foundation organizes, among other activities, the International Sacred Music and Art Festival, a week of concerts in the major basilicas of Rome, where the imposing architectonic structures act as a sound chamber, becoming an active part of the musical performance. In its 20th edition, the organizers of the festival wish to emphasize this veiled romance between music and architecture. And what better way than to inaugurate this festival with the performance of Bruckner's Fourth Symphony, interpreted by the Vienna Philharmonic in an architectonic context of extraordinary plastic strength, La Basilica de la Sagrada Familia, or Holy Family Basilica in Barcelona, the work of the great modernist architect Antoni Gaudí, known as God's architect. Back in the Eternal City, the Roman cycle of the festival begins and opens with a classic, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's Requiem Mass in the majestic context of the Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls. In a few moments, we'll be back with more on Vaticano. One of the most awaited moments in the 20th International Festival of Sacred Music and Art was the encounter with the Vespro della Beata Vergine, or Vespers of the Blessed Virgin, by Claudio Monteverdi in the Papal Basilica of St. Mary Major.
Deus in adiutorium meum intende.
The Vespers are a monumental work, written for a large choir that can include 10 vocal parts in some movements, and that in the course of the work is divided into separate choirs, while up to 7 different soloists accompany. The work consists of 14 movements and completes all of the requirements for a Vespertine service on the eve of any feast of Our Lady. Monteverdi employs many musical styles. The most traditional characteristics, like the cantus firmus, or fixed melody, the falso bordone, or false bass, and Venetian song, are all mixed with the latest madrigalistic innovations, like echo effects and chains of dissonances. The work of Claudio Monteverdi determined the passage of Renaissance music to Baroque.
Gloria
We'll be back after a short break with more on Vaticano. The 20th International Sacred Music and Art Festival in Rome concluded with a call to dialogue between cultures and religions. The Papal Basilica of St. John Lateran was the scene of the encounter between musical formations with very different historical and cultural roots. Christian and Jewish choral and orchestral groups from Germany, Italy, and Israel performed a sacred music concert with works from Mozart, Verdi, Tevye, and Dvorak. United in praise of God the Creator, absolute beauty. So closed the 20th edition of the International Sacred Music and Art Festival in Rome.